All right, old school versus new school. What I mean by that is the old FBI load, 38 Special+P, and the old FBI load is basically a 158 grain lead hollow point loaded at a +P level. And we have some Remington HTP, 38 Special+P to represent that. Versus new school, and the FBI eventually went to 40 Smith & Wesson as well as most law enforcement agencies. So I have another HTP round, and this is 40 Smith & Wesson 155 grain jacketed hollow point. So 155 versus 158. So this should be a pretty interesting test. And a lot of people have the misconception that somehow the 38 Special is an awful round based on the 1986 Miami shootout, when actually it was this round that actually ended the fight. And it was just coincidental that we had a lot of law enforcement agencies, after the FBI changed to more semi-automatic cartridges, they went to semi-automatics. And you know, I get in this argument a lot with people, and they argue that because law enforcement agencies use nothing but semi-automatics, that means that the revolver is garbage for concealed carry, which, you know, I take issue with. Obviously, it's a fine weapon. So we're gonna do some old school versus new school. I have my 4-inch barreled Smith & Wesson 686, and I have a 5-inch barrel Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Got about the same amount of barrel and bullet travel in there. You know, we have pretty fair comparison here because we're using the same amount of barrel travel, same size guns basically. So we are going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. And then I'm going to go through my clear ballistics. But my test is a little bit different than a lot of people's because I use medium density fiberboard to represent like ribs or sternum. So I do a shot without it and a shot with it. So we are going through 4 layers of denim here, into about 3 inches of clear ballistics, which represents about like a pectoral muscle before you hit your ribs and sternum simulation here into more clear ballistics. So we'll see, you know, what we get, and we want to get at least 10 inches in this equation because the MDF typically takes away 2 inches of this. So we want to get at least 10 inches to consider a decent round. So anywhere between like 10 and 15 or 16 would be ideal. And then I'm going to shoot from 25 yards at my full size steel silhouette. I'm going to do a couple double taps, or a few double taps at that, just kind of see how these guns will compare to each other if you had to shoot from that distance. So let's get started with the test. All right, I'm going to start with old school first for our velocity reading. I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. Let's see how the 38 Special+P does out of this 4-inch barrel. 867, 875, 899, 902, 896. So not too bad. Let's see how the 40 does. All right, 40 Smith & Wesson. We're only 3 grains lighter. So let's see what we get for velocity and accuracy. 1109, 1108, 1117, 1103, 1107. So pretty consistent velocity, and obviously a lot more velocity. So let's hit our ballistic gel block and let's see how these two compare to each other. So first up through the gel block, we're going to go through the MDF with our old school 38 Special. Let's see how this does through our MDF. So what we're actually looking at is our damage path is up here at 16 inches. So that would be basically 18 inches. Typically without the MDF, we have to count that as 18. Let's see how the 40 Smith & Wesson does through the MDF. All right, 40 Smith & Wesson through the MDF. I'll go right below that. See what we get. A lot more recoil with the 40 for sure. And wow, I didn't expand at all. And we've got a lot of damage. We're looking at 27 and a half inches, or 27 and a quarter. So that'd be like 29 and a quarter. Yeah, that's not good. Let's take out the MDF and we'll represent our quote-unquote gut shot, because that would be what it would be without a hard barrier or bone simulation. All right, so we'll do the 38 Special with no MDF, see how that does. All right, so yeah, we didn't get expansion. We had very little penetration, and we actually stopped at 27 inches. So that's a lot of penetration. Let's try the 40 without the MDF. All right, 40 Smith & Wesson, no MDF. See how this does. And we got a complete pass through of that gel block. We are looking at, 34, about 34 and a quarter inches. That sucks. That's not good. So this basic round, at the velocity it was going at, it should have done a lot better than that. That is weird. So let's consider this as the 38 Special doing a little bit better. Our penetration is obviously a lot less, because this is going to be with no MDF, and the 40 with no MDF is all the way through the thing. With the MDF, we had an acceptable penetration, and with the MDF at the 40, we did not have it acceptable at all. So let's shoot from 25 yards, see how these things will double tap. All right, 25 yards from my steel silhouette. So what I want to do is just get a sight picture and then fire off a couple rounds. That's just kind of a practical way to see, if recoil really slows down or changes my point of impact with two shots. So 40 Smith & Wesson, let's see what we can get here. And again. All right, let's try the 38 Special, see how that does for me. Back to 40. That's that last shot. Let me try some more with the 38. All right, 38 Special again. So I'm going to say both are pretty comparable in that type of test. The 40 obviously hit a lot harder, but when we're looking at this ballistic test, I'm not sure what I think here. Obviously, we had way too much penetration with that 40. With the velocity of over 1,100 feet per second, we're approaching the energy of about a 357 mag and a snub nose. There's no reason why we shouldn't have got expansion. So that's kind of disappointing. Not a great round overall, but it's just a basic jacketed hollow point 40. Now our 38 Special, it did over penetrate a little bit in our gut shot, but in our chest shot simulation it did excellent. But we also have to look at that the over penetration was not too significant in the just plain gel shot, and it basically looks like it turned into a wad cutter. So it did a decent amount of damage, and our shootability, I feel, is, they're about the same between the two. So that's what you get today. I don't know what I think, really, honestly, old school versus new school. I can't really say I think the 40's better with this round, but maybe with some rounds. But however, when technology increases with stuff like 40, it also can increase with 38 Special. So, hey, that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.